you so much for watching another episode of Christmas cards. This time we're gonna be using glitter, snowflakes, and I'm gonna show you some interesting techniques that are simple and they make big difference in your paintings. Now I'm gonna be using the same brush, very stiff, to splatter this white gouache as we've been using on the latest video. And then I have around very little round brushes and a flat 3/4 of an inch. Now I have this glitter and some snowflakes that I'm gonna be spreading on the paper using just a regular school glue. This one dries pretty fast, and then we need some washi tape for the edges of the painting, and I think I'm gonna go with the Christmas themed one for this painting. Another thing that I'm gonna be using are some pre-cut sheets. They are cold press arches, and I cut them at 4.5 by 6 inches. And I taped it very well to the table. Make sure that everything is secure, because for some of these we're gonna be using a dark background, and if the washi tape is not sealed very well on the paper, you're gonna have a leak, and you don't want that. You'll see later that I will have some but it's not the desirable outcome. That's why I left this border to cut it after. It's just nice to have it all neat. Now for the next step, I'm using this pan and I'm dipping my thumb into it just to catch kind of like an even color, and then I will stamp into spots and make sure you have this gap between them, and those are gonna be the feet of your nom. Now I'm using exactly the same color, spreading it with a round 2 brush in the shape of a hat. And now for this part, don't stress out. You don't have to follow the exact pattern you sketched. It just needs to look like it's going down and then maybe making a curl or something interesting. And now with my wet brush, I'm gently rubbing the surface where underneath the hat, and I'm doing that to suggest a wet on wet effect that is gonna create the illusion of like fluffiness and the beard, because that's where the beard of my nom is gonna be. So instead of going with my little brush and just like recreating every single hair string, I'm letting the watercolor do that for me. Now you can wait until everything is dry, or you can do it as I am doing right now. You can add the darker layer wet on wet, and this way you're gonna have more soft edges and it's all gonna merge more naturally together. For this darker layer, I'm adding a touch of the warm blue that I have in my palette, and that is just very, very little to get a more saturated and intense and darker value of that red. And for the beard, I'm just combining some blue with burnt sienna to get this neutral brownish color towards gray. Note that for the beard, I'm also adding a darker value on the right, because my light is coming from the left. Don't forget where the light is coming from. And now for the eyes, I'm using the smallest brush I have. It's a 00 Kolinsky, and I'm putting small eyes. You can make them bigger. You can even add the googly eyes if you like. Got mine from Amazon, and you can get them in any size. So I'll just put the link below the video if you are interested in checking those out. And now proceeding to the mouth, I want to hide it a little and then show it. So I'm kind of getting it, like losing it through the mustache and the beard. I think it looks more interesting that way. Now I'm gonna try to record a very short video for my Instagram. If you guys don't follow me already, check out my Instagram. It's Laura and Vlad, and there you can see the small sketches that I do sometimes when I go out, and some of the things that I enjoy to use for my watercolor paintings as supplies and just other updates. Now I go back to my round brush, and I'm using a combination of purple and raw sienna, and I'm only using the raw sienna because I don't want the saturation of this purple to compete with my red. I want the red to be the star of this painting. And now I'm adding a little bit of shadow under the feet and some snowflakes, the illusion of snowing. Now I'm tapping with my fingers to add some glue on the hat, on the beard, and on the sky. And I'm using this to sprinkle the goodies on top. These are the favorite glitter I've had. I just love to play with glitter since I was little, so I took this opportunity to make a mess everywhere. So just sprinkle them on top like that. And don't worry if you put too much or if it goes where it's not supposed to, because you're gonna brush it after. You can do this on top of a sink. I just don't mind the mess on my desk. Here I have some snowflakes that I got from Michael's actually. And after you're done, you do brush with a very soft brush, and then get rid of the extra glitter. You can put more or less. I just like a little to be very subtle. And now I'm using my stamp with the different message. This time I'm gonna be using the Joy stamp a lot. I kind of like this one. And then just try to position it in a way that will make a nice composition with your painting, and lift it with care. And then this one is done. I hope you like this knob, and I've seen these are very cool this season, so I hope this is an easy one to make. And also I hope you had a lot of fun. This is a perfect card to make with your kids, because if you mess up, it doesn't matter, it still looks really cute, especially if you use your thumb. Now moving on to the next one. This one's not gonna be as messy, and it's gonna be a lot shorter because we're not gonna use the thumbs, and we're trying to tone it down with the glitter. So this is another snowman, because you guys already know snowmans are my obsession. And for this I'm trying to find the middle of the paper to make it symmetric, and then I'm adding one big snowball, and on top of it a smaller snowball, and I'm adding a little hat. I hope this helps to see how I am creating my sketch. A lot of people have said that they're not very good with sketching, so they want to see this process. Now I put water on top of the big snowball, and I'm adding a combination of blue and burnt sienna to create this grayish color. It's a little dirty snowball, and I'm doing this because I want to have a stronger contrast with the background, and some shadow on the ground, which is a little bit yellowish because dirty snow sometimes is yellow. You can make it more blue or more purple, as long as you like the combination of color you've chosen. It's all good. So again, for this I'm trying to focus on the areas where the light is shining from, and then leaving those parts more white. If you are interested in seeing the theory behind how light is bouncing off surfaces, and how to do basic perspective drawing, leave a comment below and I'll make a video showing that for you guys. I found it very, very important to learn perspective, and I started actually with architectural drawings. That's when everything, like, I got my basis, and I don't use it very often on complex shapes, but on simple shapes it's pretty easy to understand how light behaves, and that's how you can create paintings from your imagination and not just copy photos. I'm making sure the paper is completely dry, and I'm taking the snowflakes off the paper. That's how I preserve those white areas. I could have done this by lifting the pigment and not using those snowflakes, but the paper would not have been as white as it is right now. So just try to show you more options and how to try different things and experiment. Don't be afraid to experiment, because I've been doing that for a long time and I got stuck. That's why there were 10 months when I did not work on my channel at all. It was a moment of perfectionism taking over and not appreciating the level that I was at, because we all have different stages, and I just wanted to be very high up there, and if I wasn't, then I figured I should give up, which was a big mistake. So now I'm trying to have much more fun and just experiment every day with watercolor and not be so concerned about the perfection of my result. Now I'm gonna be making a little bat on a branch, and to make it more interesting, the branch is gonna be high and then the bat is gonna just hang upside down. So yeah, let's watch the sketch for this one. As a base layer, I'm using the light value of raw sienna, and as I'm progressing, I'm adding more yellow ochre for the more lit up areas, and the burnt sienna for the darkest ones, where I want to have more contrast and also more saturation. Now, since our paper, it has a small format and the branches have to be very delicate and very small at the edges, I'm gonna be using this silver brush, which is my favorite brush, as you guys know. It goes very pointy, so it's like you're having 5 types of brushes in one. That is nice. Now for the body, I'm using a purple combined with burnt sienna, very, very light, because this is the first layer. As I'm progressing through, I'm adding more purple and darker value of this combination. You can make this with more saturated purple as you wish. For this one I chose to make it less saturated because I want to emphasize more the pink and also the red that I'm gonna be adding at the end. I want that to pop. For this part, you can either work dry on wet or wet on wet. Today I feel like using more wet on wet for some reason, and since it's the first layer, I can do so. I can let it dry completely and then add darker value. Note that for the eyes, it's very, very important that your paper is dry, because you want to show the little very well defined lashes, and those are not going to be well defined if your paper is not completely dry. Now I'm stamping the message on the top, and since this one is very intense and dark, I felt the need to add some darker areas just to make it all more cohesive. And the darkest areas are going to be on the branch, on the eyes, and then I want to find some more areas as well. Also, for the snowflakes in the background, I'm using the 2 brush because this one is very soft and I want to just touch the surface very gently. Now other areas of contrast can be also the red that I'm using. This is definitely gonna be also a value contrast and also a saturation contrast. So it's gonna be the focal point of the entire painting. But I feel like something is missing, and that is something fun and also more red I need. So after we're gonna put these snowflakes to keep the theme of this collection, I'm gonna add this ribbon because the bat is a little cute lady and she needs an accessory for Christmas. So I'm gonna put this ribbon, and I am softening some edges to make it look like it's floating, and also that is to show very well that it's a watercolor painting. I like to do that. It's like a signature. So I hope you guys like these 3 cards, and if you did, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified of my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Happy painting!